Look at how precise this ancient Inca temple is. Look at how tight these blocks are with absolutely no mortar being used. Yes, in today's video, we are summarizing a few highlights from day number 2 here in Cusco, Peru. First, we had the kids kind of sleep in before we hit the ground running out at the church. This area right here is a newly renovated area that they're hoping to kind of use to host teams someday. And the best part about it is check out the view of Cusco. Yeah, it's absolutely mind-blowing, isn't it? You can see the airport over there, and then if you look closely, you can see some old ancient Spanish cathedrals. And here are our fearless drivers right down there. Eventually, everyone packed into the vans, and we went out to our outreach area. Now, what's so interesting is culturally, they have Catholicism, but it's not the Catholics that you think. It kind of combines this animism and local traditions, and so there's actually a ton of alcohol abuse, and it breaks up so many families. So a lot of talking with local women, actually. In this particular case, this is Christina, and we asked her the 2 questions. If you're familiar with T for T training, it's a really sweet gal. I actually bought some of this corn right here, huge corn kernels. And what's so fascinating about this particular region, if you look up on all the houses, you'll see these 2 toros, these 2 bulls, and these kind of represent a blend of traditional animism and cultural beliefs. And as you can see, there's actually a cross right here. And so it's really a battle for these local pastors to differentiate the power and the love of Jesus and then the fear of these superstitions that are so prevalent in these animistic cultures. It's not too unlike the Old Testament, where people would serve Yahweh and yet at the same time would turn around and have all their idols in their closet. So this particular woman, Christina, she knew her stuff. So really it was all about building into her and encouraging her to connect to a local community, because these people out here are very isolated. It's kind of considered a weird thing. Lots of persecution if you are not a quote Catholic, which in all honesty, that does not make you a Christian out here. So we prayed for her tremendously. We gave her some gifts. Then the second gal we went to visit, her name is Gladys, and yes, spoiler alert, she actually became a Christian. She also here, as you can see, is boiling up some corn to sell. And just down the way, they had some touristy areas where they were absolutely just blasting music, which I prayed would stop, and lo and behold, it actually did stop. So we were able to continue a conversation with her. Avery here asked her some questions and ultimately asked her, do you want to accept Jesus? Do you want to make him king of your life? And she very authentically said, yes, please. And so we had the opportunity to pray with her. Avery led her in that sinner's prayer. There was a lot of joy and happiness ultimately when she did express her desire to be with Jesus. Now I want to point out how e2Ten operates. This isn't just a flash in the pan, a touch and go, hey, we got a convert, let's check this checkbox. It really is about connecting them with local believers. And so after we're able to lead them to Jesus, we connect them to local pastors and local Bible studies. You can see Jorge right here, and this guy knows his stuff. He was actually asked some very difficult questions about end times theology, and he knew his Bible backwards and forwards. So really cool stuff to kind of listen to him. Of course, through our fearless translators. Without them, boy, we would be absolutely lost. And so we covered Gladys in prayer. I am just so looking forward to seeing this woman of God in heaven someday where there's no language barriers. And it was just really cool to have everybody lay hands on her and joyfully commit her to Jesus, this wonderful woman who will no longer be in isolation, but rather surrounded with a community who loves her and a God has been waiting for her to come home. Now let's fast forward over to the Kalos Agon Martial Arts Ministry. You can see Billy and Matthew. Look at this. They're actually in the grass getting scrappy, teaching all these kids about punch block. We're going to be doing a trap and roll right. Then we distribute all the gringos and have all the kids basically play with us. Look at this, where even the little dogs are in on this. By the way, the dogs themselves are super friendly and very well taken care of around here. And so, as you can see, the dog was a little concerned, making sure that Gigi wasn't beating up this child. Look at the tail it's wagging. Yes, I actually ended up sparring this dog later on. He was a good boy. And then we also did some dance ministry. Yes, this is Mo, the ministry of dance. All these kids followed along Juliet and Gigi, and we did this to a worship song in Spanish. So not only connecting their heart and their voices, but also their body in praise to their maker. So much of our faith is bottled up and we don't want to express our joy with our bodies, but this is truly giving them that permission to just go crazy. Look, bless the Lord and praise him with your entire body. And so these kids really got all the moves, and it kind of equipped them with those tools. Speaking of kids, we finished everything with some worship and some phenomenal devotionals. We are just about to start day number 3 right here. We appreciate your support, your prayers. Let's go.